Hi, I'm Henna. Thanks for watching. Today's video is all about Rouge Saray by Atelier des Or. I've told the story about how I discovered this perfume, but I'll tell it again really quick. I was at a friend's house to smell perfume. She has quite a lot of perfume, and we decided to smell all her Atelier des Or scents. Initially, the one that I really wanted to smell was Lune Feline, but she brought out all the others. I was enamored by Lune Feline because it has a cardamom note, and I love cardamom in perfume. But this was the one that I really liked the scent of on paper. Maybe you'll get this when you smell it, but it really, to me, smelled a little bit like pink bubblegum. And I also really love that scent, and so I wanted to experience this perfume again. She was nice enough to give me a small decant of it, which I took away with me on vacation. I wore it the whole time I was there. I finished it, and then I was able to find a partial bottle of the scent to add to my collection. So that is how I was introduced to Rouge Saray, and really I've been enjoying it for the past month or so, past few months, I would say. Now, Atelier des Or started in 2015. It's a collaboration between someone that owns the perfume company and a perfumer. The perfumer for all the scents is Marie Salamagne. She is a Firmenich perfumer, so she is trained in her craft and she has created all these scents. She's actually the perfumer behind the latest Gucci perfume also. I think it's the Magnificent Orchid, I think it's called. Something having to do with orchid. It's part of the Flora line. So she's the perfumer behind that as well. And I'm sure she's done a million other things. But she has done all the Atelier des Or perfumes. They do all smell finished. They're all complex. They are beautiful, easy to wear. Crowd pleasers for sure. And I don't think that that is necessarily a bad thing. This is the perfect perfume for fall weather because it really has a ambery, warm vanilla kind of dry down. I'm going to spray it, even though I've worn tons of it, but I'll spray it one more time. Aside from the bubblegum note on paper, the other thing that I really liked in this perfume was the scent of plum. There is a candied plum accord in this scent, and as you wear the perfume, as it warms up on your skin, the plum gets jammier and richer and just so much more delicious that it makes the perfume a joy to wear from beginning to end. There's also a good deal of spiciness in Rouge Saray. So there is cinnamon, there's clove, there's pepper. That's at least what I pick up when I smell it. The clove and the cinnamon, the spices in general, along with a little bit of that plum, really reminded me of another perfume that I have worn before and that I love, and that is Feminité du Bois by Serge Lutens. And you can see that I have the newer bottle and it's basically empty because I have worn so much of this. Most recently, I finished this bottle in this past June and I wore a lot of it because it's not a very strong perfume. So yes, it has clove and plum, but it's such a light perfume. It's very thin that I could easily wear 6 or 7 sprays of it, and that to me is a lot. And I felt like I got some of the same spices along with that plum in Rouge Saray, except all of them are more pronounced and more potent. Now, I don't want you to smell Rouge Saray and think that you're just getting a dupe of Feminité du Bois. That's not the case at all. I just feel like this scent reminded me of Feminité du Bois, which I already really liked. So I was happy to smell that same kind of combination of different notes, the spices and the plum together in another scent. Feminité du Bois leans colder. I had initially bought this because I wanted a spicy perfume that I could wear in the summertime, and Feminité du Bois is a cold spice perfume. Clove really kind of has a menthol kind of quality or aspect to it, and maybe that is what makes Feminité du Bois seem a little cooler. So it was perfect to wear in the summertime, and that's why I finished this in June. Rouge Saray really goes in a warmer direction. So the cinnamon in this is what gives it tons of heat. The pepperiness also hot spice, so makes this a really good perfume to wear in the cooler weather rather than in the warmer weather. The dry down is very, very warm. So lots of woods, there's Palo Santo, there's a tiny bit of smokiness, and there's vanilla. So we've got warm spices, we've got candied plums, and then we've got this amber base that's super cozy. So that makes Rouge Saray a really good perfume to wear in the fall or even in the winter time. I actually think that the spices in this kind of remind me of mulling spices. Anything that kind of reminds you of Christmas or that kind of time of year is what Rouge Saray is linked to. So the spices really remind me of mulling spices. It just makes me think of having a pot of apple cider on the stove with your cinnamon and clove and pepper in it, and you can smell that throughout the house, and you've got that warm coziness because of that scent. That is what I think of when I think of Rouge Saray. When I first spray Rouge Saray, I get a certain leathery quality to the perfume, and it's not like a new car smell. This isn't like Tom Ford ombre leather, but there is a soft suede that seems to come and go when I wear this perfume. I smell it most when I first spray it, but then it kind of disappears, and depending on how the notes are playing on my skin, I either get some of that leathery quality come back, that leather accord that seems to be in here, or I get that jammy plum and spice that honestly I find super addictive and just so delicious. I would say this is a gourmand perfume because it reminds me of the winter spices or winter desserts that you would have around Christmas time. So like a plum pudding or a spice cake or a fruit cake, something like that, something that is very, very rich and nourishing and warming at the same time. I get all of that when I smell Rouge Saray. Another one of the notes that's in this scent is the note of dates. So dates kind of have this jamminess, but then also this like sour tart kind of facet that really makes that note stand out. The other perfume that I've smelled with that date note and that bit of warmth is Camel by Zoologist. I don't have that bottle anymore, but I wore a lot of Camel. That perfume is more animalic, and combined with the dates and the vanilla, it's a little bit drier. It just kind of makes me think of a dry desert, and that was the intent of it. Rouge Saray doesn't smell dry at all. It doesn't make you think of a desert wind, but the date note is quite similar to the date note in Camel. Rouge Saray is just thicker, heavier. Again, it's more gourmand, and it's lacking any of the animalic facets that were in Camel. So if you liked parts of Camel, but maybe you were turned off by how dirty it was, especially when you first sprayed it, you might want to check out Rouge Saray. And if you like Feminité du Bois, but you wish that it was stronger, especially from what I hear, the current bottle is not very potent at all compared to the bottle before. If you liked Feminité du Bois, but you just wish that there was a little bit more richness to it, you will find all of that in Rouge Saray. It is quite rich, quite a bit heavier, and again, it goes in a warm direction because of the vanilla instead of being cool like the Serge Lutens is. So those are the two perfumes I think of when I think of Rouge Saray, and kind of when I was thinking about adding it to my collection, I definitely thought that there was a place for it because I don't have Camel anymore and I'm done with my bottle of Feminité du Bois. Again, the spices in Feminité du Bois also make me think of Coca-Cola, and I'm not getting that crisp, cold Coca-Cola from Rouge Saray. I'm getting more of the mulling spices with this jammy candied plum. Really, this is a cozy, delicious gourmand that doesn't get overly sweet. So if you're a person that doesn't like sweet scents, then you definitely need to check out this one because it doesn't go overly sweet. And even Lune Feline, when every time I've smelled it, I don't feel like it's over the top sweetness. I prefer that in my scents. I don't like scents that are super, super sweet. This is more of an old school, subdued kind of sweetness. It really is having a rich, warm cake out of the oven, but with lots of dried fruits inside of it too. So I love that about it. I love date cake. I love that whole Christmassy kind of vibe, but without any of the Christmas tree or any of the mess that sometimes comes along with all that stuff, you know? And even though this reminds me of Christmas, I feel like I could wear it any time of year as long as it was cool outside because it would give me that bit of warmth. Lasting power is excellent. Sillage is excellent. Definitely people around you will be able to smell it, but not from too far away. So it's not something that projects a lot or wears you. You are the person that wears it. And it just kind of blends into the fabric of your skin or your clothes and just smells nice, warm, delicious, and inviting. Really makes me think of happy times, cozy times, you know, being inside with your family and some warm lighting and coziness. That is what I feel when I wear Rouge Saray. So if you're looking to add something like that to your collection, or that sounds like something that would be appealing to you, definitely smell this. A note about the gold flecks that are in the bottle. They do come out when you spray them. So they are fine enough that they make it through the atomizer, and you will get a little bit of gold on your skin, but not so much that it's noticeable. It doesn't smell or doesn't look like glitter. It has not gotten any of my clothes dirty. Well, let me see. I just sprayed it on my sweater and I can't see where I've sprayed it, so that's a good thing. But if you are really concerned about that, maybe just spray it on your skin instead of on your clothes. That's Rouge Saray. Enjoy it. Atelier des Ors. One of my favorite perfumes that I've discovered this year. Let me know what you think. If you have another favorite from the brand, I would love to hear about it. I haven't smelled any of the more recent ones. There's a Blue Madeleine, which I think smells like tea and cake. And I know there's also a pink one. I think it's called Pink Me Up, and it's supposed to smell like rosé or pink champagne or something like that. Haven't smelled those, but Rouge Saray was definitely one that was calling my name, and I love it so much. I think it just is so rich and easy to wear for me. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.